Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Back. Welcome.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Another season.
Season
3.
3. We're racking them up.
We are.
Not the lines, the seasons.
Yeah, baby.
That was clever. That was very, very
Thank
clever.
you.
That's
like
a
that?
quality play on words,
It is.
Caleb.
Oh, guys, I've missed you. Missed the listeners. I've missed the interaction. I mean, I've seen you for fucking 3 weeks straight, but
I don't
4
actually.
weeks.
I think I've seen both of you more times in my life since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you more in our break from the podcast every week than I have when we do the podcast every week.
Yeah, that's true. But we did have to organise some things that'll be released for Send It Mate soon.
We've put a lot of hard work.
Did some effort. We did some effort and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I actually did some podcast stuff without drinking.
Yeah, we did.
So, improved quality season 3.
Yeah. No, it's been nice.
You actually need a break,
You
man,
do.
from drinking because, dude, drinking every Monday on the podcast, I was well over it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've added 5 kilos to my frame.
Add a few more zeros onto that.
Let's not get into weight limits, Josh.
Stop shaming him.
I could shame
You're
Josh.
fat shaming.
I could shame Josh if we started talking about weight limits.
Yeah. What's the weight of your penis?
There it is.
Yep,
The penis
there it
reference,
is.
2 minutes in.
How much do you reckon a dick weighs?
45 grams.
How many bags of cocaine would it take to match the weight of a dick? Like the average size penis.
I've never thought of it. Yeah.
I don't know. I've not calibrated my
Yeah.
scales.
I'll whip out my powder scales next week and wait for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about
and by
like
powder, you actually don't mean.
No, gunpowder scales.
Yeah, I thought so. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying for listeners.
Yeah, but he's got to take the 6 locks off of, or undo the 6 locks in his front door and tell his cousin Julio to step away with the shotgun
Julio.
before he, lets anyone in, just to use his.
Everyone's
powder
butt
scale.
naked too, just in case they try and smuggle shit.
Yeah, except they're all dudes.
Can we get off this topic?
Oh, why? We talk like this when we're not recording. So
We do a lot of smack.
we're back.
We are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute pleasure to have you join us again for season 3, episode 1. Straight out the gates like a fucking champion.
Shiny,
Booyah.
shiny and new.
So I have put something new on Karen. let me explain. So
Heavy.
I'll put a few things on Karen.
I'm going to do what you do to me. What's a Karen?
For those playing at home, Karen is my very affectionate name for my shotgun, my Adler all-weather. So a couple of, I think it might have been beginning of season 2, I mentioned that I had purchased a new stock and it was coming over from Turkey. Gobble, gobble. But it was held up because of the whole COVID bullshit. And it finally came all the way over to little old Adelaide from Turkey about a week and a half ago. And the pistol grip stock for the all-weather Adler straight pull. And it looks fucking mint.
It does.
Very
I have to
tactical,
admit.
cool.
It's missing one thing, and that's the bright yellow Sharpie pen with the name Karen on it.
Yeah, it's going to be Karen 2.0. The only reason I haven't written that yet is because after I wrote Karen on there, I thought, well, me and Karen, like, it's going to be forever now. So I broke the pen because I'd never write a name on another shotgun. That's how deep my love for Karen goes. But upgraded Karen's so much better.
What have you done with the old stock?
I just put it away somewhere dark in the closet.
It's where she belongs.
As you
Where she
do with a
belongs.
Karen.
We love Karen.
Oh, get the
That's
Sharpie out,
bloody
man. You got to.
Yeah, no,
brand it.
it'll be on there. No, we put it on there, took it out in the range, made sure it was all Mickey Mouse, and it will be Chris and Sharon 2.0. Sorry, Karen, not Sharon. Oh, Karen would kill me if she heard that.
Yeah.
Karen 2.0.
And Sharon.
Karen and Sharon. Yeah.
Sharon, you're.
Shazza.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
You're
the
243.
243, Shazza.
Yeah.
Her name's not Sharon, it's Shazza. Kazza and
I
Shazza.
mean, really.
Shannon,
You gotta say it
Shazza, Sharon. Yeah.
The origin of Shazza is Sharon, I believe.
Yeah, righto. Fucking grammar police.
Camp mum in the house.
Camp mum.
Well,
Fuck you.
No, well, that's the...
we're missing the point. How did it go at the range?
Yeah, how
Bloody
did it go?
Fucking good, man. Fucking good. So the
He's
grip,
still got 2 hands.
I've still got 2 hands. I've got a half a foot. So
Did she talk back to you?
I got half a foot as well.
How much does it weigh?
Anyway, moving on.
No, it was good. Bloody good. So if anyone does have the Adler, I highly recommend. I ordered it through a gun shop.
Oh, really?
Well, you can order
Didn't
them
buy it on the
out
black
of the-
market.
like,
Out of the back of a van.
when I mean gun shop, I mean actually the shop front, like gun store shop front.
Bricks and mortar store.
Bricks and mortar store.
Store.
It's a store, lad. Yeah, so that's my story, and I'm fucking done.
Well, that was a short POI.
It was, but I'm just going to chime in and say it does look nice and it handles very nice. I haven't fired it with the new stock on, but had a bit of a play around when
That's
we
good.
were here
It's
last.
so much easier because you can keep your bead on target while you're racking it. A lot easier. It's a lot more sturdy.
Yeah.
Like the ergonomics change obviously slightly because you're going down to a pistol grip. But yeah, it's good fun. Good fun.
Have you, because the action is actually interchangeable on the Adler, is it not? Have you kept
It
it
is.
on the left or right side? I can't remember. what you
Left
did.
side. So I shoot right-handed, but I use the handle on the left. So I use my left hand to rack around and right hand on the grip, which is a little bit out of the box for guys that use the straight pulls.
People do it both ways.
Yeah,
It's just down to personal preference.
It is definitely. The reason why I do that is because I sit the butt of the butt of the rifle sits in between my pectoral and my shoulder muscle, and because I'm quite large, when I reach forward with my right hand, it rolls the barrel, which is fucking annoying.
Yeah, the only thing with the theory that I can think of is if you've got it on the right side and you've got your non-master hand at the fore end of the stock, and then you take your master hand, which you shouldn't do, off of the pistol grip and rack it, in my mind you have better stability because you're using a bit more leverage instead of having your master hand on the pistol grip and trying to rack it with your left hand. I don't know. I guess it's whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, personal preference.
With the pistol grip, I feel like you definitely got it. You can quite easily keep it stable.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
Yeah. That's something I'd like to do one day actually is see the difference between the two. And I'm looking at buying a Warwick or Warwick straight pull.
Just
and
Warwick.
I kind of want to
Warwick.
see which way is better, left or right.
I mean, it'd want to be better for the price.
No,
How much is a Warwick?
Probably about
Warwick?
Well,
Warwick.
I quoted it up the other day. It's
Warwick.
3,800, which is pretty much like about where you're going to pay for a high-end rifle anyway.
Is that Aussie made?
Yeah, but it's a shotgun.
Yeah. No, it's a 223.
Oh, sorry, you mean your 223. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yep.
Brain fart from me. All right, well, thank you, Ryan. How much did that cost you?
$190.
What? That is almost as much as you pay for the shotgun.
Yeah, which is a little bit expensive.
Well,
I think for what it is.
When the Adlers came out, they were like $475, and they're now 600 something.
Yeah.
So Ryan's effectively paid as much as if he bought one now, rather than
That's true.
a couple of years ago.
This
So
is true. I got it for a steal.
he's not really missing out, and he has a spare butt.
I've got 2 butts now.
All right, cool.
Kilbaninis. So, ooh.
This is new.
What's that?
Hey, it's time to get into our topic for this week, which is Doomsday Preppers.
Doomsday Preppers.
Doomsday. This is
Doomsday.
I think this has some relevance to our current worldwide situation with COVID.
COVID times.
Everyone loves that word. Gives you fucking chills, doesn't it?
COVID. I prefer the term coronavirus.
And that's doomsday, like prepping. We've seen panic buying and things here in Australia. And in South Australia, it was fucking toilet paper.
Yeah, what is
because
with that?
People are retarded, man.
It's a fucking pandemic. Get the shitter paper.
Oh, look, you don't want to wipe your ass with your hand, that's for sure. But,
Yeah,
but I mean, come
I
on,
just feel
maybe
like
canned
there's-
food, some baked beans or something.
There'd be in the order of things, of order of importance of things that people would stock. I would not have put toilet paper at the top of the list.
No, look, you would have got like one of those big value packs and been like, 8, I'm good for a week.
A week.
A week.
40 wiper, mate.
All right. Very good. Let's get into it. Josh.
Well, that was my segue. Thanks for
What? Shitter paper?
Oh,
No,
this just
breaking
wasn't
it
general
and then-
chit chat.
no. You've announced the topic. Now I'm into it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
We'll carry on then.
Fucking here
thank
we
you.
go.
Sorry, I thought you were
just
just
to let
easing us in.
Just to let the listeners know, Caleb poured himself a rather large glass of port, which is going through quite quickly. So you're not quite as sharp, are you?
It's got nothing to do with anything at this point, Josh.
Oh, cool bullshit.
I'm still sharper.
A bit blunt on the pointy end.
Righto. So anyway, so we're going into this panic buying and it has a little bit of relevance of our situation now. A lot of people are looking at buying, even properties out in the country and starting to grow their own food and chooks and all that kind of piss. And what I was just sitting there thinking of is if you're in the city and you want to be slightly prepared, say, for a pandemic or I don't know, some sort of catastrophic fucking thing, what would be a useful item to have? Now, I used to have one of these myself for many, many years, and that's a bug-out bag. And I'm pretty sure we've touched on bug-out bags before, but in the relevance of doomsday prepping, I figured it's pretty important. And you can do if you live in the city, and that is make one.
What's a bug out bag for those playing at home?
So I knew that question was
Sounds
coming.
like he's going to teach us how to make one.
So I knew that question was coming. So what a bug out bag is essentially a go-to bag, so a bag that you've pre-packed with some important items that will see you through, say, the period of about 72 hours, maybe a week long if you need it. So the theory is if something happens, you can just go grab your bug out bag, get in your car or put it on your back and walk or drive to safety and live.
Glad you brought bug up bags up, actually, because I'm going to touch on them when I do a topic breakdown.
Ooh.
So we're crossing swords, but in a good way.
You want to play tummy sticks?
How many bags are you
Play,
touching?
play what?
You said crossing swords, you clan. Tummy sticks.
Tummy
Never
sticks?
mind.
Tummy sticks.
Watch fucking Step Brothers.
Do you want to play
Tummy sticks.
I don't even know.
I still don't. I love
you
Step
making
Brothers,
that up?
and I don't know that reference.
Anyway, so some of the
Neither does he.
some people can get carried away with what's in their bug out bag, and I just wanted to shorten, make a list of, I guess, the important things that you should have in a bug out bag if you decide to make one, and that's obviously the bag itself. And just going on my past experience, I used to use, and this is quite important. Everyone's laughing because I said the bag, but it's fucking important.
No, well,
So-
is a bug out box not good enough?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
What about
Needs
A
to have
bug out,
straps.
bug out container?
I don't know.
bug out recyclable?
Oh, a bug out canoe,
Bag.
a bug out car. Yeah, if you've got fucking millions of dollars, yeah, go for it.
Obviously, a bag you can carry. So
Yes.
hit us, Joshua.
So I used to use it was a sword medic patrol pack. And the reason why I like this bag is because it had a front zip and it used to open the main compartment from like a bird's eye view. And you could pretty much, you wouldn't have to dig through your bag to get things. You could just open it all the way out and then pick out what you needed and close it back up. Look, it wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but with a few more sword pouches on the pack, it worked very, very well. And I used to use it in the army.
The brand
For-
is sword, just for people
Yeah,
listening. They
sword.
don't think that you're putting swords in
I
pouches.
didn't realise that until you said. I thought you actually meant a sword.
Well, I said a sword medic patrol pack, so I'm pretty sure
The
that
brand's sword, all right? Everyone, the brand is sword.
Fuck. Well, I thought I was carrying a sword around. Maybe not.
I saw you making one with your son. So
Fucking oath. I am.
anything-
You know what's coming next? Axes. Throwing axes. Zombie apocalypse. Those boys are fucked.
Anyway, so I used to use it in the army for up to 72 hours, sometimes a little bit longer, and it had enough cubic inches in it to sustain me for that time.
How many inches?
I can't remember how big it was, but
How many inches sustain you?
so what was in it was, I just want to break it down because a lot of people they overdo, they overpack way too much. Now the secret with packing is you pack it once and then you repack it, like you unpack it, and then you repack it, because then you end up throwing away a lot of items that you don't need in it. So the first one's obviously a hoochie or some sort of shelter. I'd just recommend a hoochie because they're very, very versatile and they're very lightweight, and all you need is 4 Oki straps and you can sort of deal with it. The other one is a water bottle. I would always recommend going to a hard bottle over a bladder. Simply, these two boys are fucking weeing themselves, eh? And I don't know why. You fucking clowns.
Because I'm just admiring your ability to power through and ignore what I said.
Yeah. Well,
You've obviously worked on that in the break.
I'm not free, so. Anyway, so a hard water bottle over a bladder, simply because bladders burst very, very easily. And with that, some sort of way to purify your water. Now, we've covered this before. You can either use a Steri pen or you can use a Millbank filter.
What's a Millbank filter?
Millbank filter it's essentially a material sock that you pour water into and then it drips out. Yeah.
So kind of like when I jizz in a sock.
No, it's much bigger than a sock. But
What is it? Is it a sock that you pour water in?
essentially, yeah, it's a material sock that you pour water in
So
and it filters it.
I'm gathering it's just going to take the larger particulates out. It's not going to take like
Yeah, look,
chemicals
we're
or
not
anything
we're
like
not
that.
fucking snowflakes here. So you know, if you're got a running stream, you obviously collect your water from the part where it's running, and then you run it through the sock. It gets the fucking shit out, and you drink it, and you
Oh, so
stop
it's
being
just-
a pussy.
It's just like material. It's
Essentially.
just filtering material. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So it's like a thing that you whack over wherever, whatever.
Pour your water through it.
Pour your water through it. Yes. Yeah. So put it over your drink bottle and then use your drink bottle.
No. So typically, I'd use a container to pour it, or however I could either fill up the sock itself from the stream, and then just hold it up over the bottle and let it drip in. That works.
I reckon if you had like 1,000 count, like 1,000 thread count cotton or something like that, like bed sheets.
Look, you're right.
You could
Yeah.
filter really well with that.
Yeah, a tea towel. I actually once filtered Carver through a tea towel.
Okay. I feel like there's an interesting story behind that statement.
Yeah, no, it was actually Mount Crawford. I was camping in Mount Crawford and some dude had some Carver, so we were like, yes.
Okay, I thought
we'll try it.
I expected some sort of exotic location or
No.
I thought that story was going to start with back when I was in the army, but turns out it was last month while you're in the fucking Mount Crawford getting lit.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're having a few beers. One of the boys brought a packet of Carver back from Thailand, I think it was, and he told us how to do it. Like, we're all scrambling around to look for something, and I had a tea towel, and I was like, oh, we could use this as a filter.
that would have tasted like ass.
Yeah,
because it was not a clean tea towel, I'm gathering.
No, it was a clean tea towel.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was a clean tea towel.
Did you use it to wipe your ass?
It just, the Carver itself tasted like shit and didn't make anything go numb, so.
Okay, well, I've never had the pleasure of partaking.
I've never tried it either.
Even though there was the Carver Hut down the road from where I went to uni, never tried it.
Really?
Yeah, Hindley Street. There used to be a Carver Hut. Never went in.
It's one of those things I guess you should try. For me, I didn't feel anything, really. It just tasted like dirty water, and I'm like, yeah, this is great.
The guys are jokes on you.
Yeah, pretty
Title
much.
of your sex tape.
But we're digressing.
I didn't taste anything and it tasted like dirty water.
We're digressing, so I'll get back to my list. So the next thing that I've got is some sort of food. Now, that's obviously a non-perishable food. When we backpack hunt, we use dehydrated food, and we use them for pretty much its weight-saving ability because they're dehydrated and they're in sort of like an aluminum pack. They weigh like 2 fists of fuck all.
For the Australian listeners, aluminium.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just going to say aluminum. Thanks. Then you obviously need some sort of cooking implement, and with that you need like obviously some sort of fire lighting device. So that can either be a flint and steel or a Bic lighter, matches, anything really. And a good tip is if you, in your little fire lighting kit, if you get some cotton bud before you go and dip them in Vaseline and then put them in your little fire lighting kit, they work very, very well to start fires. And
Cotton buds or cotton wool?
Cotton wool, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cotton wool.
Vaso.
Yeah, it's a petroleum product. Burns very well.
Actually, I've seen you do that. That works pretty well.
Yeah, it's like a fire lighter. They just stay lit for
homemade fire lighters basically. Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
That is probably tip of the day.
Yeah,
for those out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great if you're in like a wet area, and then you start with some really small twigs, and then you just build the fire up using that, and it'll take off pretty easily.
Vaso and some cotton buds, and you can scorch some shit.
Cotton balls.
And wank.
Cotton balls. Soaked cotton balls.
Anyway, the next one is an axe and a multi-tool. I would say they're pretty important tools to have in your kit. Possibly if you have the space and the ability to carry the extra weight, maybe a foldable shovel or something like that.
What do you need a multi-tool for? I have got a multi-tool and have had multi-tools for 10 years, and I have only ever used the knife on the multi-tool.
Look, I think they come into their own, especially if you need to break into a place. Say there's a shop that you got to break into or something like that. This is in a doomsday sort of scenario.
Yeah.
They certainly have their use. Yes.
What are you going to do? Like, are you going to what tools are you going to use on the multi-tool to break into a store other than a brick
some
to
of
go through
the multi-tools have like a glass breaker.
We're talking the end of the world here, man.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you have a torch and that torch needs batteries, and the only way you can get other batteries is because you've got this item that has, I don't know, Phillips head screwdriver fucking lid on it, and that's the only way you
fair
can
point.
get.
Screwdrivers.
Yeah, like the screwdrivers you'd use. What else is there? A file. There's a saw.
I mean, everyone knows the saw and those things are fucking useless. You're not going to use that. The file, what are you going to file with that?
Look,
Your nails?
I've actually filed a fish hook before.
There you go.
So, yeah, with
would use
with wire. So I found some fencing wire. I bent it and then filed a sharp point in it.
You fashioned yourself a fish hook.
But yeah, look, like in this sort of scenario, maybe you need to. You know, maybe you have to do that. And this is why I put it in there, because it is quite a useful bit of kit. And for me, an axe is a great bit of kit because, you know,
Zombies.
no, I was thinking more of firewood. How painful is it when you're out camping or hunting and you're sort of like, you know, it's your turn to get the firewood and you walk off and you end up dragging like a fucking 12-foot log, you know.
Yeah, but you're not going to cut it up out in the middle of butt fuck nowhere and do 20 trips.
Oh, look, you don't need to, no, but you can certainly cut up wood for making a seat or cut up wood for making a shelter, permanent shelter. Anything
I would
like
say I'd just take an axe head. just I've been watching too much Mountain Man.
Yeah.
Just take an axe head and then find timber to fashion into a handle.
Yeah, well, I guess you could do that anyway. Jumping down, I'll quickly try and go through this because Ryan just looked at his watch. But the next one is something that we definitely don't ever take with us, but we should, and that's a first aid kit. And in the first aid kit, I've got 4 items that I would say are quite essential, and that's an Ashman's chest seal, some quick clot, a tourniquet, and an Israeli bandage.
What's the difference between an Israeli bandage and an Australian bandage?
So it's a little bit hard to describe, but essentially it's just a long bandage with a plastic clip in it that you can use as a semi-tourniquet. So you're able to wrap your leg around with the bandage and then slip it through this little plastic bracket and then pull it back the other way and it sort of tightens on itself. They are amazing bits of kit. And if
we're talking major bleed situation here.
Yeah. So like any sort of major hemorrhage, like the Ashman's chest seal, like you're only going to need that if you have like some sort of thoracic injury.
I will touch on this again. So well done.
But
crossing swords again.
It's definitely those 4 items are definitely worth putting in there. And then obviously some minor Panadol and if you can, some antibiotics and things like that. The next one I got is some sort of defense system. So a rifle, a knife, anything that you've got. Obviously not everyone's firearm, like not everyone is a firearm owner. So you can't in Australia have access to firearms.
A whacking stick?
Yes, anything to sort of defend yourself with. And when you think about defense, you want it easy to get to. So even if it was just like a mum, not a mum, but a single woman that just ran out of her apartment, grabbed this bag, and her defense strategy was the keys in her pocket, and she just poked a few keys out between her fingers and was, used her fist to punch people with the keys in it. Whatever works for you works, remembering that whatever you have can also be used against you. And in any sort of defensive situation, distance is the key to survival. So if you ever find yourself at the end of an attack, put distance first and try and calm the person down with words before you obviously – that's real snowflake.
Use your words, Josh.
That's real snowflake.
Wise words. Why would you want to get an injury? Why would you want to obtain an injury if you can avoid it with words? So it's not snowflakey, it's just smart.
Yeah. Or just shoot first and then skip on your way to eating your dehydes.
Take a bunch of pens.
A bunch of pens?
They're mightier than the sword.
Throwing pens? Oh, God. I'm going to write a letter to you, an aggressive letter.
I'm going to tell you how angry I am.
Anyway, next one is some warm clothes. It's imperative. A torch and some paracord.
Fuck me, how big is this bag of yours?
This actually fits in quite well. I could put a sleeping bag in there as well if I needed to. Yeah.
Like how many litre pack are we talking?
Look, it's probably no more than 22 litres probably.
So like a day pack.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, Josh,
no, it's a
looks like a
72-hour
70
pack, not a day pack. I would probably try and
So what, 50
steer
litre?
clear.
50 litre pack?
Oh, look, 22 to 50 litres. 50 litres is probably on the big side. And you've got to remember, a bug-out bag is probably going to be for people who don't have a awesome amount of fitness. So if they're going to chuck a 50 litre pack on their back, then they might struggle. Where it's sort of 20 litres, you can push through it a little bit easier.
Okay, interesting. Cool. I'm going to touch on these, as I said. So
Oh, you're going to touch on them.
I see.
yes.
My next question, so after I listed that, rattled that list off, my question to you both is, what would your action plan be if you were to come into sort of a doomsday scenario where you had to grab your bug-out bag? Because this is the other part that I think people miss when they're packing a bug-out bag, is then planning on what to do after that.
Well, it depends on what the scenario is. Like, has an asteroid landed? Has
We're talking about some sort of catastrophic
Korea
event.
invaded? Like, what's happened?
Yeah, you got to set the scenario there. With are we going off of little information? No one knows anything. We've been
Okay.
hit by a massive EMP.
Has a pandemic
power-
taken over the world?
Power, water's shut down,
It's
and
subscribed to
there is either a natural disaster or some form of invasion, maybe not in your state, but in advancing into your country. There's no power, no water. There's looting and riots in the street.
So, like, Walking Dead without the zombies.
So we're talking civil unrest and a loss of
Major civil unrest.
major civil unrest and a loss of all services to your house, essentially.
So Walking Dead without the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no power, water. You got to do everything for yourself. Every man for himself. Martial law.
Yep.
Survive.
Well, I've actually thought about this. The first thing I have a bug out bag already ready to go, which is just my hunting pack. It's not really a bug out bag. It's just everything that I need. And me and those dear to me need to survive in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
I just wish it was ready to go when we go on hunting trips.
It is ready to go. It is ready to go when we go on
I
hunting
forgot
trips.
cold weather gear.
Oh, shit, I forgot I got my summer gear. It's winter,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah. No, well, it's because I was like, it's ready to go. No worries, mate. But then it was fucking cold and it didn't. Anyway, we're digressing. I'll just go down. I'm not going to tell I'm not going to tell everyone my whole plan because, I don't want those people that.
Oh,
use to-
bit of OPSEC.
yeah, I don't know what that means. But
Operational security. Oh, my God.
No, well, there's a couple of options around us. Like if I didn't know what was going on, didn't have enough information, I would just you make yourself scarce. If it's quite obvious that your house is under threat from whatever, then your life is the most precious thing, yours and the lives of those that are close to you. So that's the number one thing. You protect that. So you get your essentials, your bug out bag. I definitely tied into that is rifles, ammunition, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Grab that, go bush, but not like open bush with trail and stuff, like dense bush, where it's quite easy to hide. And if there's choppers coming up overhead, it's quite easy to just blend in.
Except for thermal, but yep.
Except for thermal, but let's face it, I'll just like crouch down into the shape of a kangaroo. That's my plan there.
Just hide in a herd of sheep.
Nah, just start fucking a sheep.
Sorry.
No one's going to land and fucking
Wow,
disturb you.
that escalated quickly.
I'm going to correct myself. Flock of sheep, not herd of sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez,
So
bro.
that'd be that's an easy question, and then it'd be just getting intel, like find out what the fuck's actually going on. But I mean, this is going to lead into the direction that I want to go in a little bit. But all those different scenarios where there's not quite any specifics other than there being civil unrest, to get to that point, there has to be some sort of extreme.
It's a build up. Yeah.
I mean, you would be able to see it coming. And if you can see that coming, then the law.
Did you see COVID coming?
No, but we could see the reaction that would happen before it was at our doorstep.
That's true.
So you can like the because of technology, unless all technology was wiped out in one hit, the transfer of information is so quick and in real time that you would be able to see events before
Predict
they
something, yeah.
unfold. So, and because if the everyday man can see it or everyday woman can see it, then the government knows well beforehand, and things would be put in place to stop anything from getting out of control. Unless, of course, you're in America and people are rioting and killing police officers.
I'm talking about it's gone past the control of the government and it's gone to civil unrest without policing action. I think there's a lot of people that would actually do the same thing, man. They'd try and go bush. And I have a feeling that there's not a lot of people out there that actually can survive properly in the bush.
Oh, fuck no.
So that in itself is going to create a lot of stressful sort of situations for, for other people, but also if you come across them, because they're going to start getting desperate.
Well, that's one thing that I've thought about a little bit is like myself, I can't speak for myself, but I've always sort of had the approach that I've got the skill set to be able to take the long haul, like, and do it really, really well in those sorts of challenging environments. But if I ran out of supplies or ran out of something or needed something, I would go to someone else to get it from them. And I never really thought about the scenario of how far I would go to being on the other end of that, because you sort of, people like us, we assume that we would be the guys that have got it done really, really well. Have you thought about how far you would go?
And you're raising a very good point, man, because suddenly you're in a dangerous situation.
That's it.
Regardless which side of the fence you're on.
That's it. And that would be the perspective of the people that are coming to you early in the game, where they've not been prepared, and how far are they willing to go? Like, if you're in that situation, how far would you be willing to go? That is the perspective of those.
Well, you've got a son as well, so you'd go further than most, and other people will have children, and in their mindset, they will go further than most. And all it takes is a lucky shot or an unlucky shot, whichever way you want to look at it, and you're done. So,
I mean,
you got to think about these things, man.
I've never watched Doomsday Preppers, but in looking into these things a little bit, depending on what scenario you're presented with, most people prepare some sort of a bunker and stockpile everything for the purpose of staying at home safely as their first option. Then there's your bug out bag if you need to just, your home's under threat. You can't just bunker down where you're at.
Yeah.
The smart ones, from what I can see, have all their options available. So they've got their bunker at home so they can stay there as long as they need to. They've got their bug out bag so they can go nomadic wherever they need to go. And then they've got multiple the ones with lots of money and actually set up multiple safe houses with safe rooms and bunkers and whatever across a country.
Yeah, you see that, that's extreme, and most people don't have the money for that.
Exactly.
But most people can afford a fucking bug out bag, eh?
Correct, but wouldn't you rather stay in your house if you could? Again, it's down to the situation.
Look, I have a friend, we have a friend, a mutual friend in the States, and I had this conversation with him, and he simply said, "No, I'm fucking going to pillage, mate. I don't prepare. I'll just grab my gun and go fucking door to door and take what I need, kill them all, and then, So you got to think about that as well. So if you're going to stay in your location, in your home, chances are people are going to be like, oh, there could be some canned goods or some food or something in that house. Let's go check it out.
Which is why people build bunkers and conceal them. So,
but as an average person, you don't. So like you right now, are you going to weigh up packing your ute with your camping gear and pissing off with your family, or are you going to stay at home?
Again,
that's what you got to weigh up.
It depends on the scenario.
Yeah.
You're going to know what you need to do at whatever point you need to.
So you're a bit lucky as well, because your house is it's very narrow, and the front has the roller shutters and the rear is quite easily defendable through narrow hallways and things. So you're creating like a murder lane.
Jeez.
So it's quite easy to defend.
And that's for when sense. China invades and they target.
I'm
Caleb's
just talking
house.
about looters and things like that. I mean, you've got two kids to worry about. So how far are you going to go? You're going to talk to words or write them a nice letter? Be like, "Excuse me, sir, please don't break into my home." What are you going to do?
Again, like, It depends on the scenario. If it's to a point where people are looting, I would probably rather go bush and be mobile than have to defend a house.
Yeah. Because once you lose that defense, there's no...
Well, you got to go mobile anyway.
No, well, you're fucked, aren't you? Because you like a narrow house goes both ways. So if they're coming in through the front and you got a kill zone in the hallway, he can't get out.
Yeah, that's where you obviously pre-plan some things, and you've got to look outside the square. So you've got a manhole and you've got roof tiles, or you've got a corrugated iron roof. We'll just punch that shit.
Yeah,
get out from the roof.
And also, like you, that's under the assumption that you just have an everyday plebs. Like it depends. I would have thought of it like this. So you've got different stages of what happens in such a catastrophe, where you've got people just lose their shit, and you've got the dumb people will be the ones that would probably perish earlier on, and then the smart ones are the ones that end up seeing it out through various.
See, man, sometimes those dumb fuckers get lucky.
Yeah,
and you get
so
unlucky.
you're talking about it, like over the duration of like an extended period of time where it'd be such a catastrophe brings on that whole end of civilization, right? So the time, like, of course, there'll be some that would have the odd lucky shot. But if you're talking about the generalization of the type of people that are likely to be surviving long term, the people that are the most prepared and have the smarts to be able to figure things out on the fly are the ones that are going to make it through. So depending on when in this catastrophe, Caleb's having his house raided by people dressed like from Mad Max.
Obviously, I'm not going to be able to defend myself from an army.
Yeah. Because if you're talking about a couple of guys,
Oh, look, if it was an invading force, your best option just go to the desert, because no one wants the desert. Just go live in the desert.
well,
You'll be
no
fine.
one is there a country in the world that has a force with the capability of being able to go house to house?
China.
Oh, look out. It's our first podcast injury.
He's hurt himself having a giggle over China.
Josh has just smashed his knee on the table.
Oh, no.
But, I mean, look, again, it's horses for courses. Whatever scenario is presented to you, the main thing is to have some level of preparation, but then also have the skills to be able to adapt.
Got skills.
So if you're a hunter and you can survive out in the bush and like get your own meat, then you're an advantage over someone who's never done that in their life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the other side to that is people would typically, because of the way that human nature is, create communities, whether it's a community of 4 people or a community of 10 people. And then you have the skill sets of different people that would be picked up and combined.
Yeah, I mean, so if everyone in our street or your street or my street individually came together to form a small community that had to survive, then more than likely you're going to be the only guy with, you know, the ability, well, firearms firstly.
Mm.
So in my street, I reckon I'm probably the only firearm owner, maybe one other person.
Mm.
That's in my street, right? So say that's your community you're stuck with. I'm the only one with access to firearms. I'm probably the only one who's been hunting before.
Yeah.
So
the first thing I'd be doing if a community was
I mean, there's a couple of nanas next door which can crochet us all some warm clothes, but
that would have to be like a knitted camo jumper.
But I mean,
like, fuck you knitting into it.
That's what's good about community, isn't it? You've got some skills amongst everyone, but you know, chances are you're going to be the hunter gun guy.
In that scenario, the first thing I would do, if it was an established community and I trusted them, I would transfer the skill set. So teach people so that it's not you're not the only person with that skill set. So it becomes, I think we've spoken about this briefly before about like military units and how diverse Australia is in comparison compared to America and the training that we receive. So sort of like that sort of principle, I guess.
Well, safety in numbers, you're spot on actually. The more people you can get around you that has the same sort of mentality, the better off you're going to be. If you try and do it all by yourself, the chances are you're not going to make it. So,
but you got to be prepared for either scenario. You're either solo or you're joining a group.
Well, exactly. But your survival time, having more people around you, like-minded people, is going to increase your survival time essentially.
As long as they're allies.
Yeah, it's not like the movies where you got the lone fucking ranger that comes out swinging swords in a zombie apocalypse that somehow survived by themselves.
I'm going to be the leader and I'm going to own a tiger.
I'm just going to sit here in pain.
Why are you in pain?
Oh, bro, the nerves just
don't laugh with your knees.
Just kicked off.
Tip for young players: don't laugh and knee the table. All right,
I didn't knee the table.
Can we wrap you and move on to Ryan now? Or
let's do it.
Yes, sick. Ryan, go for it.
So I was sort of going down that whole bug out bag road as well, and thinking that the first question that I want to pose, there's two questions here. First question that I would pose is if you had the option of only taking two things, you had to leave your house and you could only take two things, what would they be?
Child 1, child 2.
Items, not people.
My dog and my gun.
You're not going to get very far without any ammunition there, Joshy boy.
Oh, obviously, there'll be ammunition in my gun.
It's a really expensive club.
Oh, so so if we were going that far, you're not wearing any clothes or shoes either.
No, you've got the clothes on your back. You can take the people that are with you, but you've got two items that you can take.
So obviously, having a rifle is going to include ammunition.
Nope. Ammunition is a separate item.
Knife.
One of those knife, fork, spoons.
It has to be a spork.
KFS.
That's three things, mate. You got to ditch one.
No, it's one thing.
No, that's
one item. No. KFS.
A rifle then has ammo.
Ryan, why? Two things.
Two things.
Knife and a torch.
Cool.
That's just what came to me.
Whoa.
These aren't. So just the two things you can take, not things that you can. Only two things that you can use. Just two things that you could take straight out the gates from your house when you're leaving.
Two things I could take.
Can I change my answer to
Absolutely, you can.
Bug out bag and food?
Bug out bag, just a bag.
It's an item. It's a bug out bag.
Yeah, but you're just taking a bag.
It's full of shit.
Well, it's not full. It's full of other items, isn't it? You can't rot the system, Caleb. Caleb's taking an empty bag with him, and
maybe that's handy. Maybe I can hide in it.
You can hide in a bag.
Maybe I can disguise myself as a bag. I don't know.
I'd say, okay, if that's the case, I'd take a Bushmaster.
That's not an item.
That's a fucking item.
All right, you need to define this test better, Ryan.
Yeah. No, you take a Bushmaster.
I'd take a Bushmaster.
I dispute that answer because he doesn't have a Bushmaster at his house. So he cannot take it.
It's two items, man.
What does it run on?
Diesel.
So you've got whatever is in it when you leave at any given moment.
That's the thing, man.
Oh, hang on. So my bug out bag has things in it. Why can't I take that?
Yeah.
You're saying he can take his Bushmaster with whatever's in it?
No, he can't. No, he can only take his Bushmaster with no other items on it, but the Bushmaster is going to have like whatever's diesel is in it at the time.
So that means the bug out bag is going to have whatever items in it at the time.
No, fuck your test, Ryan. Fuck it.
No. I'm changing the rules as we go, by the way. So you're taking a bag and a knife. You're taking a
handheld items. Shall we go with two? What two handheld items can you take?
Okay. We need to hurry this up because this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would.
It is.
You boys are fucking ridiculous.
Well, okay. If a rifle and rounds are two things, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably take an axe and a lighter.
Yeah. Okay. Axe and a lighter, an empty bag and a knife.
Oh, I said a knife and a torch.
A knife and a torch. All right. No, fair point.
Let's go to the dark.
So I would take a machete and a knife sharpening kit or knife sharpener or like a steel.
But you've got a stone. You just walk along the path and find a stone.
You're not going to get a nice edge on a machete with a stone.
Oh, you're going to get it good enough to sort of chop someone's arm.
Do you know what? I'm changing my answer back to what I said originally. Taking a bag and a knife. Because if I got a bag, I can put other shit in it along the way.
You're fine. That's a fair point.
Thank you very much. Drop the mic. I win.
Pity you only make it to your letterbox.
Yeah,
eh?
you get out your letterbox, someone shoots you for your bag. Joke's on them. They're like, guy took an empty bag. What a fucking idiot.
I'm sorry, but you have the same level of defense as I do.
If that happened right before I die, I'd be like, "You're a shit." I nearly said it.
You're a shit, colourful person.
You're a shit Kent.
You piece of shit.
I spent a lot of time thinking about that question, actually.
For what purpose?
Well,
Who wins?
Well, you definitely don't. Empty bag and a fucking knife. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I can put other
What are you
shit.
gonna
I
do?
can carry a heap of other shit later on. I walk out my driveway. I've got my bag on my back. I've got my knife. I'm going to defend myself till I get to the nearest hardware store and then fill my backpack.
Why don't you just take a bag from the fucking hardware store?
I can just imagine you in
It won't be
like
camo.
your shorts and t-shirt. You've got your backpack on, but it's open and it's just fucking sagging because there's nothing in it. And you're holding your knife with two hands, going like brick with a grenade.
But it could have things in there.
No, we're leaving your house. It'll be empty.
People don't know that. They don't know what I've got in there. Have you watched the new Jumanji?
No.
So you're gonna have a boomerang?
Kevin, what is Kevin Hart's character?
He's a bag dude,
He's just got a backpack. What does it have in it?
which is fitting for you actually.
What does he have in it?
You can be my bag dude.
He carries all the weapons.
Does he? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I haven't seen
He
it.
carries a boomerang. That's his weapon.
No, he's got all the weapons. He's got everything in that backpack.
I haven't seen it.
That's
I don't
me.
know.
That's
but
my
a
character.
boomerang would be a pretty sick, like a steel boomerang. Is it Mad Max? Yeah, it's Mad Max. So that kid that's got the steel boomerang.
Suddenly it's chopped your own fucking head off.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man.
My dad made me a boomerang when I was young. Oh, we both made it. And I still remember the first time he took me out. He's like, "Oh, you ready, son?" And I sort of started getting the hang of it, and then I just like pelted it, and this thing came back and hit me in the shin.
Yeah, wow.
Did you cry?
Yes, it hurt, and I was like 8.
It's soft.
I had a large boomerang as a child. I'd say it used to just sit on a windowsill. I don't know where I got it from. Someone gave it to me, I think. And it would have been maybe 800 wide, long, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I remember being about 5 years of age, and I just decided to like hold it on one end and just spin around in a circle. And I hit someone, I hit someone in the kneecap with it. Oh! I never got to use it again. I'd never thrown it or anything, so I wouldn't know if it came back or not. I just decided to spin around with a boomerang and kneecap someone.
Fuck people up.
Yeah,
With
it got taken off me, and
your meter
that was
long
it.
boomerang.
There you go. There's your second item. Screw the bag off for a boomerang.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that.
Oh shit.
All right. So down to the nitty gritty though. What the second question is, what do you think is the most likely scenario that would lead to such a nationwide catastrophe that
COVID.
people COVID obviously,
Progression of COVID.
the regression.
Progression.
The Delta strain.
Someone invading us eventually.
I think it'll either come down to 3 things, yeah, like some sort of pandemic, an invasion, or a natural disaster.
So why would people, like a natural disaster, I think would be the most likely one.
Yeah, same.
But invasion, like if someone want to invade us, it'd be for occupation. Who the fuck would want to take over Australia?
Yeah, it's a desert.
I mean, the likelihood of that happening. I mean, if someone was going to attack us just to, like, because we're in war and they want to take out all of our,
I think modern times you're not going to get like an occupation scenario like World War 1 and 2. Like there's not going to be just invading forces like that.
No.
They'll do things like buy all your real estate and own everything.
so passive. It's a passive
and control
invasion.
your finances
That-
somehow.
And that's the thing; it's a passive thing, so it'll happen without you realizing it. But this catastrophic
Release
event is
pandemic.
you're going to realize it, and it's going to be sudden.
Yeah. So do you think like anything like missile attacks and anything like that would be a possibility?
Oh,
Look, it's possible,
like
and I
nukes.
will touch on this again when I get to my part, which I'm champing at the bit for.
Well, that's sort of the rabbit hole that I'm going down at the moment, where we currently have about zero defence.
Well, I actually think the defence is working on a defence system for the country. Now, having said that, we don't have a nuclear capability, which I don't quite understand because we actually
nukes.
hold fucking a lot of the world's nuclear waste in Whyalla.
Yeah, we've got nuclear waste, but we don't actually have any weapons of mass destruction. as
We
they
have
call them.
2/3 of the world's uranium.
Yeah. So I don't quite understand that. I don't understand why we wouldn't.
Our current defense systems are the US. That's literally it.
Definitely relations to other countries is imperative for our survival.
Yeah, well, the government has actually recently rolled out a $270 billion package, I guess you could say, to have home manufactured, so made in Australia, long-range guided missiles and a ballistic anti-ballistic missile defense system. So we are looking at, we are going to be manufacturing our own missile defense
You
systems.
see, with that comes the next 25 years plus on it, the time that it takes for them to actually develop those systems, test them, refine them, and implement them. So relations with another country is imperative, essentially.
Yeah.
Before that,
The reason why they're doing that, though, is so that we're not reliant on the US. But
Eventually,
the systems
yeah.
already exist. The systems they're going to build are the ones that we're already using, but they belong to other nations.
Look, I was a part of actually the battlefield test of the M113 Abrams tank, and that was a piece of technology that already existed. We bought it, we put it in this country, we changed it to diesel, and then we tried them on the battlefield. And I'm telling you now, I was stuck in Kultana for like 3 months, man, and dead set 18 out of the 20-something odd tanks that we'd bought broke within the first week. They actually paused the X for like a fortnight because there was that many that were broken that they couldn't carry on with the test. One,
They paused the what?
and they paused the exercise.
Oh.
They couldn't carry on with the test, and then it took a fortnight for parts to get in from the states to fix them.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why they're deciding to have them manufactured here is because we get all of our missiles from the US currently. We don't have any manufacturing facilities in our country. So if something did go down on a global scale, the first thing that country is going to do is stockpile their own munitions.
We're not
isn't it?
self-sustainable.
Absolutely not.
And we need to become, and it's a good thing, but this process takes fucking years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get that. But we've the money's already been approved to have that process start. We literally have nothing. Any other country could shoot a missile at us, and if the US defenses decided not to do anything about it, we'd be fucked.
Well, it's really the US defenses aren't going to reach us, and we're in kind of a good spot in terms of our geographic location in the world because we're kind of like just off on our own, and no one really gives a fuck, and it's not really what I would consider. Now, obviously, there's better tacticians out there than but I would not class Australia as key terrain if I was going to invade the rest of the world.
But it wouldn't be an invasion. What it would be is essentially a warning shot or collateral for our association with the US. So if the US and China went to war, we would cop something.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it'd be about protecting citizens. That's what it would be about. There wouldn't be an invasion. It would be like the equivalent of the Iron Dome, really. Something that would protect us from casualties.
And look, we do have things being made. I don't actually know if it's public knowledge. I presume it is, but we are adopting things like over the horizon radar and things like that, and maybe they will be able to be used in a fashion to identify long range missiles early. I don't know. But we do have the technology that is sort of being developed here.
Oh, it's already developed.
Do it.
It's already developed. That
Or being refined, I should say.
Yeah. So the over the horizon radar is already in use, and that I believe is going to be used as a base system to incorporate some defences against. Like, obviously, if you can pick up a missile, you need to be able to fucking do something about it, don't you?
It'll be like our version of NORAD, the US's anti-missile system.
Yeah, which it's interesting because why is it now that they're deciding that we need this sort of technology?
I think you'll find it's because of really the way China has been acting and the way the world has been acting, and also COVID. We're sort of realising that, okay, there are people that are wanting to buy up our land and things like this, and there is this pandemic happening simultaneously, and we're like, shit, well, suddenly it takes fucking 6 months for us to get any shit in from the States or from other countries that we rely on.
It's definitely shed light on how dependent we are on other nations.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that if anything, China, because China wants to take over Thailand. They want Thailand back.
Yeah.
And so to do that, they probably have to take.
And Thailand's a staging ground, man. That's all that is.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. So, all right. Well, that's a wrap for me, I think. Caleb, what have you got to say, Camo?
Hello. Well, did you guys know that here in little old Adelaide, there is actually Australia's first walk-in survival shop, Preppers Warehouse?
I did not.
Really?
Yes. I did not know this at all.
Do they stock toilet paper?
So, I only found this out when I was doing a little bit of research.
Is it called Campbell's Cash and Carry?
No, it is not.
It's called Costco.
It is actually called Survival Shop Preppers Warehouse.
Really?
Yep. And it was started by a guy called Trevor Andre. He's the founder, and he's a keen hunter and survivalist, and he actually used to be an outback tour guide.
Oh.
So, back in 2019, he was in the media a fair bit. He's talking all about his desire to create the first walk-in warehouse for all things Doomsday Prepper, basically. And he did that, and it exists here in little old Adelaide.
I assume that he has an online store as well.
So he has an online store, but he has claims to have the first actual shop presence where you can shop front where you can actually walk in and buy stuff. Now, look, I actually think this guy potentially could be a guest on the show.
Hey.
That would be great.
Right. Now, look, there is a perception about Doomsday Preppers that they're a bit weird and wacky and off the planet, and they have some pretty unique ideas. And
Neck minute COVID.
I've actually listened to this guy speak a bit because he claims to be the most interviewed prepper in Australia. And he's been on a few podcasts, YouTube channels. He's been on ABC News, like newspapers have done articles on him. It was mainly down to the fact that he'd created this walk-in shop. So I thought, okay, who is this guy? There's a Facebook page. There's the website. So you can buy all this prepper, survivalist sort of stuff online, or you can go into his shop. Now, and I'm not knocking him here, right?
Did you go into his shop?
No, I did not go into his shop.
Fuck, let's make a day and go.
I did.
Without wearing our tinfoil hats.
As close to physically going to his shop, I jumped on Google and looked up Google. I looked at the address, looked up the address of it, right? And it's literally his shed.
Oh, right.
All right. So,
Well, that's an anticlimax.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
picturing this massive
Yeah,
warehouse with
yeah.
camo and fucking
Fucking
netting
oath.
everywhere, a tank in the corner.
but I can't knock him, all right? So Josh, you used to run a core shop, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine that, where you'd actually set up some proper shelving, had price tags, all that sort of gear,
but
right? All right. So imagine that, right?
Yeah.
He's set up the same sort of thing in his shed. He's gone a step further than you in that he has a proper website.
Mm-hmm.
On his website, he has links to a heap of different videos. He has he runs a school, so you can buy some content on him teaching you some methods for survivals. I mean, he to some degree he knows what he's talking about. His theology, I don't really know. That's why I think it could be potentially be a good guest to have on, so we can learn some more from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So I'll flag him as a potential guest. Now, what actually was the catalyst for him starting this shop was back in the day. So we're talking 2018. Kim Jong-un announced to the world's media that he could hit Australia with ICBMs, which is intercontinental ballistic missiles. And that's why he started this core shop, right? So he's always been passionate about survival and having the skills to be a survivalist.
Yeah.
All right. So he thought he'd start this shop where you can buy things like bug out bags,
Pre-made.
or medical kits, or camo clothing, or all this sort of gear, right? Now, again, I'm not knocking the bloke because he's passionate about something and he started a business venture where he can make some money. So an item you can buy, for example, is the Delta 50 litre bug out bag, which retails for $425.
Wow.
Right? Now, I went to
You went to the fucking cheap shop.
No. So I researched each item that's in this bag. All right. So obviously you go, all right, he sells an off-the-shelf bug-out bag packed with all this stuff. Obviously he's going to fill it with stuff he's bought and put a markup on it, right? I've priced it out. All right. So it's got a TAS Delta backpack, 50 litre backpack. That backpack's $130. TAS poncho, that's $30.
A poncho.
Yes.
It's not $30.
Okay.
It's $30.
Wow.
Stainless water bottle, which is like a fancy one with some filters and shit, $60. A dynamo torch, $35. A Ridgeline knife, $40. A major bleed kit. Now, interesting you brought up the Israeli bandages and shit, right? So he's upgraded this major bleed kit. You can, and the one he's got on there is $25 from St. John's, right? He sells that alone, this major bleed kit, for $109. All right. There's a $25 kit. It's got the Israeli bandage. And from what I can tell, he's whacked a heap of other bandages in there. But if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, then if you can buy a kit, right, there's more. 200 gram Mylar packed high energy biscuits. Best I can tell, they're about $20 for that. So the grand total there is $340. So there's not,
That's not bad.
it's not ridiculous. So from the way I'm looking at it, he's not a complete rip-off artist. So you just have the convenience of all those individual items, which you could go to your local tent world, to Aussie Disposals, to BCF
Cheap
and buy all
options.
those
Yeah,
things.
the cheapskate in me is going, there are definitely some cheaper alternatives.
Oh, 100%.
You could build it yourself and go for quality equipment.
Oh, so he sells a lot of Ridgeline stuff, which is not, amazing, but it'll get you through.
It's middle of the range sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's probably more entry level, man, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't wear Ridgeline, man.
Sorry, it's
I wear Kmart.
Exactly. So I can't knock him, right? He's passionate about something and he's decided to have a business venture, and he even lists on his website, call me 7 days a week between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. if you want any advice. Gives his mobile number. So he's out there doing something which he feels passionate about and wants to share and get that knowledge out there for people to be able to understand how to survive. So I thought that was I thought that's quite interesting. I had no idea that existed in Adelaide, and it does.
Neither did I, and I really think we should take a trip there. Look, none of us are tinfoil hat wearing motherfuckers or anything like that.
Speak for yourself.
But look, some of these places can hide little gems that can help.
Correct.
Or have
Now
for hunting.
On the website, it also says that in the next couple of months they will be moving to Melbourne.
Yeah.
So the physical shop will not exist in Adelaide. I don't know if that's how up to date the website is, but it says in the next few months. They are looking to have a farm stay property where he can run the preppers school.
Oh.
At this point, in my mind, I'm going, this sounds a little bit cultish.
That's quite common in America, though, isn't it?
He also runs a preppers singles page to connect single people.
Okay. I mean, that
So
is red flag to me.
Sprinkle all those ingredients in there. You sort of go, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt at this point, and I actually think he'd be good to
Oh, shit, yeah. Let's get
get
him
on
Let's get him
and
on the
and listen to him.
podcast. Yeah, fuck yeah.
and explain a few things.
Look, if there's one thing that this pandemic has taught us, and that is you probably should have some food at home in reserves and maybe take it a little bit serious than what people used to look at it like. But that does kind of get the vibes of cultish. And it's funny you mention that because I was going to mention, but I ran out of time before, which I'll do it now because you're saying this, that there are people out there that start prepper villages, right? And it sounds like this is yes, it might be a school, but then he's connecting people to get together and things like that. And then suddenly that becomes a community, and Ryan's right, it does come like cultish and things like that. And let's face it, these people do not portray the greatest foot to the normal public. They are typically very, very paranoid people, very sort of hard to get along with almost. And they live and breathe prepping.
Yep.
That is it. You be like, oh, you want to go listen to some jazz music this weekend at the pub? They'll be like, nah. No one wants to fucking listen to jazz music, but
I love jazz music.
There is definitely a stigma associated with hardcore preppers.
Yes. And I've actually got this guy. His name is Frankie Shine, and he started the Alaskan Watchman, obviously up in Canada. And
Alaskan in Canada. What?
Sorry, in Alaska.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. The Alaskan
Obviously
Watchman.
in Canada.
The Alaskans are invading Canada.
I don't know why I went to Canada then. My mind just zipped straight back to my brother-in-law. Anyway.
Oh, he'll be touched.
Anyway.
Shout out to
So this guy is a stereotypical fucking weird motherfucker. Like, here's that dude that is just like, on the ABC, on the channel 7 or 9 or 10, I can't remember, report, one of the three major fucking channels. He's literally like,
On the television.
Way to narrow it down.
people
Someone
are
on
going
free to air.
to come and invade, and people are going to, pillage and rape and all this other shit. And you're just like, dude, man, there is a world out there that is normal, and you're not normal.
I just think that stereotype is like people that fit that category of being just like the extreme end of the whole doomsday thing. They're the people that always they hope for the best because they come like this is just
The extreme end hope for the best. No, they don't.
They hope for the worst, not
Yeah.
hope for the best.
That's the thing.
They hope for the worst. Like it's always the worst case scenario. It's going to be the worst.
Yeah.
And it's not a very optimistic way to live your life at all.
No, it's
because all you do is spend your entire life worrying about shit.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who is that far down that side of the seesaw.
Well, it's not
lack of a better
common
word.
in Australia at the moment, but prepping is getting common. So there is another
It's
dude.
fear. It's all about fear.
Well,
That's what it is.
It is, but there's this other dude. It's not common in Australia. Now there's this other guy that is actually starting like a bunker condominiums that you can buy in Australia now.
That's been around for a while, man. There's been guys building bunkers and like it progressed from safe rooms to there's like safe rooms and fire bunkers when all the big fires came through, and that led on to businesses dipping into the whole Doomsday Prepper thing as well, where you can buy a fully kitted out bunker to be built on your property. It costs you a fuck ton of money, but there are people in Australia that have had that done. So the market is definitely it's niche at the moment.
Well, it's getting bigger.
there.
It's getting some
It's becoming
traction.
more prevalent, I think, because of all of the fear mongering that goes on. And when people talk about the media, especially the mainstream media, we've touched on this before about how all they do is seems like their goal is to scare the living shit out of people and tell them the worst case scenario, the worst thing that's coming.
Bad news is good news. So,
well, that's exactly right. So I just think that maybe if people had a rational approach to their prepping instead of a
and you're spot on. There's got to be a balance, man. There's no harm in being prepped for like a week or so, but you're going to these extremes. I don't know. These like this Alaskan Watchman group, they go as far as doing live fire contact and fighting withdrawal drills, and they are unfucking safe. Like watching them,
that's just fucking.
I'm
That's
like,
playing
what
soldier.
the
That's
fuck are
wannabes,
you
man.
doing?
Yeah,
This is not right. It is not safe. You should not be doing that without supervision and training from a professional.
yeah. That to me, I just see that as the guys who have always like they're playing war. That's what that is. It's not about the prepping and it's not about all that sort of shit. That's just them wanting to be the big macho man like they see in the movies to make themselves feel good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, Caleb's just given us a signal to wrap it up.
Yeah, well, because you just fucking hijacked my segment, mate.
Yeah, we did.
No, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
No,
Content.
you had gone to a natural pause. I watched you close your book. Why would you do that to me?
That was the end of my notes that I needed for
So
detail.
is there hijacking?
Do you know what? We can do whatever we want.
What
It's our
would
own
you-
podcast.
what
Taylor,
would
would you like to?
what would you like to
have a
say?
closing statement?
Yeah. Do you want a soda, big fella?
Do I have a closing statement
No,
to
keep
my
going.
segment?
Yeah.
I do, actually.
Okay.
Let's get him on the podcast to speak to us so people can make up their mind as to whether he's crazy or he actually knows his shit.
Well, don't want to label
Well,
it.
this sounds like we should go down to his shop shed,
While it still exists.
Let me go to his
and-
house.
have a chin wag.
Why not?
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
We're fucking doing it.
I'm free this weekend.
Guess where we're going?
Done skis.
Port Adelaide. Because that's where it is.
Oh, that says it all.
Talk about stigma.
Yes, there's several stigmas which we need to either confirm or
Well, I'd like
Dispel.
that, actually. I'd like to hear it from the horse's mouth. That'd be great.
oh, look, there is some stuff of him on YouTube, so look it up, see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a vote.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Let's move on a bit, shall we? Let's progress this thing.
ND!
Indeed.
Negligent discharge.
Holy shit, I actually thought we were we were wrapping it up.
Mate, we've got a whole segment to go, my friend.
Yeah, shit.
Negligent discharge, you remember that?
It's written
Yeah.
right there.
I know,
ND.
it's been a while.
It's
We're a
got-
bit
it's got
rusty,
your-
ladies
the
and
one with
gentlemen,
your
so
name on it.
apologies. First episode back.
We are dragging it out. I think we need some more talking juice. Pass the support.
All right.
So,
I'll send you the port if you start talking about our ND this week. Let's keep that one short.
all right. So our ND this week, just like it being short, like how much Ryan just poured for me.
Or-
Anyway,
or
You're
your-
drunk, Josh. Go home.
Or in fact, your penis.
so settle down, Chode. All right. So many years ago, we
That's what he says to it every night.
always wanted to do something together. We'd been wanting to sort of just, I don't know, have a reason almost just to catch up. And this is well before we had the idea of starting a podcast. We thought we would give it a go filming our hunts or something like that.
Our
Filming
outdoor
something,
adventures.
yeah, our outdoor shit. Anyway, along our travels, and this is way back when I owned a cafe in Mawson Lakes, and don't ever do it. It's shit. Fuck. Don't ever get into the hospitality industry. Anyway, so one of my employees at the time, he was actually a bit of a film buff, and he was a bit of a film guru. He knew everything there was to know, and he was very good at editing, anything to do with film. So we had this bright idea of, okay, let's bring this fella out with us and film some of our outdoor adventures.
He was a young lad, though. He was a super young lad, very fresh.
Look, he was a very, very young lad, but he was enthusiastic. And when I spoke to him about it, he was like, fuck yeah, you know. Anyway, so we organised a trip away in the Barossa Valley where we just thought we'd do a bit of light hunting and some target shooting and get him to film.
Oh, it was in the desert.
Yeah, look, it was
a private property you have access to.
Yeah, look, it was definitely on the sandier side of the Barossa Valley where it sort of meets the Murray River.
The desert.
Almost, yeah, the desert side. There's a lot of salt bush, let's just put it that way. Anyway, we took this dude out there and I'm getting the hurry up again. Thanks.
You fucking
Hurry the
dragging
fuck
this out,
up.
man.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to find the right words, all right?
God.
So we brought this bloke out along with us. He started filming. As the day progressed, it was about 35 degrees, and this dude collapsed. He was just fucking...
It wasn't. I think we were only there for an hour or something, weren't we?
No, it was a couple of hours. But look, we weren't doing anything strenuous. At all.
He was pointing and shooting a camera for a couple of hours at most.
With breaks.
But, I mean, he was uninitiated into all things outdoors, really. So it's probably his first time in 35 degrees, not hydrated enough. There was no hat, no sunscreen.
Nothing.
So
he didn't bring a bottle of water, nothing.
So he basically got heat stroke in the space of 2 hours from not really doing much work at all.
No. And I still remember he was just that sort of out of it. He's come up to me and said, I've rung my sister to pick me up. And I'm like, well, how the fuck's she going to get out here? She doesn't know where we are. And he's like, I've asked her to meet us on the main road. I'm like, okay. So I then had to drive him out there and take him to like rendezvous with his sister.
That sounds
A rendezvous.
Well, it is an RV,
dodgy.
but RV with his sister, and this dude gets out.
Did you make him wait out in the sun?
These guys have the fucking worst mind, eh?
I'm sorry, but
You are a sex pest,
you
man.
cannot use the phrase
Gonna go have a rendezvous
with my sister.
Of course you can.
You can't.
Of course you can. Your mind is in the gutter, bro.
Do you rendezvous with your sister? Or
Other times we just meet up.
do you just meet her on the main road?
Anyway, we RV'd with her, and this kid got out the car, and mate, he barely got out the car, and stumbled to his sister's car, in which he just like had the sookiest voice and get me home, and I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, that was.
Oh, mate, I think like we're talking about a kid that looked like he hadn't stepped outside ever.
Well, to give the listeners some perspective, he looked like that dude off of what's that fucking vampire wolf fucking
Twilight.
That's the one. He looked like a vampire out of Twilight.
He was
Because
He was transparent.
He spent his life editing videos in a dark room, and then the rest of his life was working in your cafe.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. If anything, that highlights.
He was a good worker at the cafe.
But that highlights that you actually have a little bit. Got to have a little bit of know-how just to go outside in the fucking desert.
Can we link this
In the
back to
sun.
the whole doomsday prepping thing and say, get some fucking outdoors experience in your life and some just general strength and knowledge about, if it's 35 degrees, take some water.
Take some water, take a hat, wear some sunscreen.
Have a slip, slop, slap, in fact.
Look,
It's
I
quite simple.
never wear sunscreen. Don't listen to that. It's a load
You
of
also
shit.
look like a fucking leather bag, but anyway.
You burn once, and then after that, you just go brown. Oh, yeah.
Talk to me in 15 years, man, when you're getting shit cut out of your body.
How have you've never worn sunscreen
Don't bother.
ever?
Yeah.
I think that's contributed to your short stature.
Exactly. And do you know what?
It's science, but
Nothing to do with
That
genetics.
should be the negligent discharge. And
Yeah.
that you're putting out in the airwaves poor advice to the Australian public and the world, actually.
Negligent discharge.
Exactly.
Josh.
Wear sunscreen, slip, slop, slap, be sun safe. Don't listen to Josh.
And it doesn't matter how much shit your friends hang on you for wearing that super cool cowboy hat. You know you look good.
I never said I don't wear a hat. I just said I don't wear sunscreen. And thank you very much, Snowflake.
What?
Why are you calling me Snowflake?
Well, it'll sink in one day. It's all good.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
It's a desert. Why is it snowing?
Are you shaming me for my white skin?
Stop shaming people, Josh.
Is that why you're calling me Snowflake?
No. Oh, God. It's all right. You obviously don't listen to fucking
Let's
news.
bring it back to
Stop
old
making
mate.
obscure references.
I
Wear
think-
sunscreen. You live in Australia.
I think out of this ND, what we're getting out of the ND.
Do you know what a snowflake is?
Yeah, a weak person.
Oh, there you go.
what?
So are you saying I'm sorry? We're having a fucking
I
argument.
don't know.
here.
I've been trying to wrap this up, and you two are going out of like.
No, we're gonna
fucking
get to the bottom of this. So you're calling me a snowflake for wearing sunscreen and protecting myself from getting skin cancer in a fucking 40-degree sun.
Oh, dear.
I've been sunburned in my life.
Sit in the
it's,
shade.
it's not fun being sunburned, let alone getting
No,
skin
it's not.
cancer.
It's definitely not. But you burn once and then you go brown.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
I do.
Caleb doesn't.
I'm sorry, but my English and Scottish heritage does not allow me to tan at all. I burn.
He goes out in the sun for 20 minutes and comes back looking like a tomato.
Thank you. So I will shut you down on that. Call me
I actually
snowflake.
don't think I've ever seen you. Well, I think I've seen you put on sunscreen when we go fishing. That's about it.
I don't make an event of it. I do it discreetly.
Discreetly.
Yes, discreetly.
I've got to check from now on.
Discreetly, like the time I fingered you and you didn't know about it.
It's because of your chode fingers.
Yeah, but there was 3 of them up there.
Now, you're contradicting yourself now because 1 minute you say I got fat fingers, now I got chode fingers.
It's all about the girth, baby.
Just doesn't have the reach, mate, to penetrate.
For the rusty trumpet.
I think now is the time where I will wrap us up.
Yeah.
Well, we've been waiting on it
Okay.
for the last 5 minutes.
he is checked out 15 minutes ago.
Pretty much, man.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for getting through season 3, episode 1 with us. It's been good to be back on the airwaves with you again. We've missed you. We've missed recording. And I hope you enjoyed the first episode. We're going to have some great guests this season.
Solid guests lined up. Really, really good guests.
So,
It's going to be some quality banter.
correct. There'll be quality everything. So, look, we're looking forward to getting amongst it again with you next week.
Every Monday, ladies and gentlemen, hit us up. Send It Mate podcast, Instagram. We have a Facebook page now.
Yes.
Go on there as well.
Woo! For those of you who still use the archaic platform of Facebook,
The irrelevant platform.
You're irrelevant.
do you know what? Fuck you, Josh.
See you later, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a wild ride. Peace.
Gotcha.
Catch you next week.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses high caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.